Hey, y'all, hey, we're back for another review of Sisters. We're on season 10, episode 3, entitled With or Without. We see Cheyenne, which is Andy's sister. She's getting booked. She's down to the precinct, using her one phone call to call Andy to come bail her out of jail. And of course, Andy can't leave her there, but she's like, girl, it's the middle of the night. Like, what's going on? She claims that, well, she tells Andy that she got locked up for lewd and lascivious conduct, and that her and her friends were out skinny dipping and decided that that was a good place and time to knock boots. Cops somehow get involved, and she has now been booked on the indecent exposure. And Andy's annoyed because, girl, you've been here less than 24 hours. You've managed to get yourself locked up, and it's very annoying, very inconvenient, but I'm not gonna leave you there. I'm gonna make some calls and I'm gonna come get you. So this is all within 24 hours of Miss Cheyenne being in town. And it does seem like Miss Cheyenne, she's a bit of the troubled sister. She got a checkered past. She's fighting some addiction type things. Like, there's a whole lot that's coming with Miss Cheyenne that we're going to get a little bit more information on within this episode. So we'll get there. Either way, we see Danny. She is leaving the grocery store when Officer Marcus comes rolling up on her. And he tells her, oh, girl, I'm glad I ran into you because I've been meaning to talk to you, not returning any of my calls, my texts. And she was like, listen, my friend Sabrina in the hospital. I ain't got time. He was like, yeah, you know, I did run into Maurice when she was only missing. Seems like that's a common theme among your friend group. Like, do you always lose friends? First of all, I'd have cussed you out there because... don't play with me. Either way, she was like, you know, that does seem to be a theme here, but it's greater than that. Like, she was in this car wreck, and he realizes that, yeah, he was one of the responding officers on the scene of that car wreck. And he's like, okay, how's she doing? She's like, she's not doing well. She's in a coma, so it's not looking good. What I was surprised that Officer Marcus did not say is that he was there to question Sabrina as the person that caused the accident. I'm surprised he didn't say that to Danny. Like, he's already inappropriate. You already overstepping. You like, just say everything that you got on your mind. And I say that because he did say that to Maurice when not knowing he was talking about Sabrina, saying, I'm here to question her because she's the person that caused the accident. So he says. All right. Anyway, he tells Danny that this was one of the worst accidents that he's ever seen in his whole career. Just, you know, giving us more insight into the fact that this accident was really, really bad. Like, he recognized her, but, you know, she was so beaten, battered, bruised, unrecognizable from the car wreck that he wasn't even sure that that was her, even though he had already met her before. All right, and now we get to self-serving Officer Marcus. He asks Danny, like, hey, do you want some company right now? I can be there for you. You know, last night was great. I can kind of come over and console you, wink, wink. And she's like, absolutely not. Like, what we did prior, it was a mistake. I have no viable reason for cheating my boyfriend. Like, I ain't really with this. Like, it was fun for what it was, but I'm good. And he was like, yeah, but what if it's just time to move on? She was like, yeah, it might be time to move on, but not with you. Like, there's no us. We're not a thing, you know. Appreciate you, but I'm gonna go ahead and head out. So at the end of the conversation, she drives off and he appears to be understanding, right? Just spoiler alert, we'll see him again by the end of the episode, and he's really gonna piss me off. Either way, he is so mad that he throws his quote-unquote groceries in the trash can. So now he feels, oh, he's rejected and he feels played with, and this is going to be a theme. This is going to be a problem that he has with Danny. And I say groceries in quotes because, sir, the bag seemed damn near empty. Like, it was probably a pack of gum. It really wasn't much in the bag, for one. And for two, it's given that he was like low-key stalking Danny, because he was like, yeah, I see you got a lot of snacks in your groceries. Sir, if the groceries are already packed and put in the trunk, how you know the contents of the packaging? I don't know about that. Don't like it. It's giving Fatal Attraction a little bit, but we'll see Officer Marcus again. All right, so Andy goes to Cheyenne down at the precinct, and she was like, listen, I don't know why you acting like that. Like, what's got you off the rails and like just being a big problem? And she's like, listen, Mama taught us better than this. Like, why you acting like this? Like, what is this about? And Cheyenne is like, girl, you don't know what Mama taught us. Like, girl, you left when I was 8 and went to college, and you just threw us away. You did not come back. yeah, you basically, you left us for dead, girl. Like, you went to college, whatever. And she was like, Cheyenne alludes to something that happened in their childhood, and she tells Andy, like, you know how things were before Mr. Marvin. So, before Marvin. Now, I don't know who Marvin is. Do I know who Marvin is? No. The name Marvin doesn't sound familiar, so maybe there was some stuff going on in the home that Andy and Cheyenne were privy to that the mama may not have been aware of, and maybe mama got a new man, Mr. Marvin, and that kind of cut out all of the traumatic stuff that happened to Cheyenne and her sister. That's my guess, and that might be their point of contention, because Andy had her way out, like college was her way out of that home, to get her far away from what was happening or had happened, and Cheyenne resents her for it. And what I'll just drop in here, being the oldest, there is some onus that comes with you going out into the world, making your way, and leaving your younger siblings behind, especially when you learn information that, of course, you were out there in college, making a way, living your life, doing what you're supposed to do as an adult, but learning that things that they might have been subjected to in your absence, there is a kind of guilt that comes up, like, you know, maybe I could have circumvented some of the stuff. Maybe I could have saved them from experiencing some of these things. Of course, we have a crystal ball, and we have no way to go back and proclaim that to be true, but there is some, I could just go ahead and say that there's probably going to be some guilt that Andy's going to carry related to her leaving to go make her way in the world, leaving, quote unquote, Cheyenne behind to deal what was left back at home. So that is probably their major point of contention between Andy and Cheyenne. Okay. Anyway, Andy kind of brushes past it because, girl, she don't want to talk about it. We need to get up out of here. But she does say, like, girl, we grew up in the same house. How did you turn out so differently? That annoyed me. It annoyed me because that is one of those things that a lot of us say to people, like, yeah, you and your siblings, y'all grew up in the same house and everybody turned out so differently. How is that? And I've heard that generationally. Like, my group, my parents' group, my grandparents' group, and the long and the short is that people are just a summation of their experiences, their decisions, choices, same things, decisions, but you can put 2 eggs in a pot and boil them at the same temperature in the same pot in the same water, and the outcome is different. It's simply how things shake out. So I would implore you to not say that to people, because it's annoying. Because, girl, we're not fraternal. We're not twins. Even in twins, things just turn out differently. So you cannot use that as a debate topic. Like, oh, girl, we grew up in the same house, same parents, same everything, and you turned out horribly. Like, girl, shut up, because that's irritating. That just irritates me personally. All right, moving on. Anyway, Andy was able to call in a couple favors and get the charges dropped. So Cheyenne's like, okay, girl, why are we sitting there talking? She was like, girl, the paper got to be processed. Just calm down. And then she's looking at Cheyenne, and she's like, girl, your pupils are dilated. Are you high? Like, she knew to whisper it because, girl, we still in the precinct and they might be recording this. But, girl, let you high, Cheyenne. Like, girl, I am. I've been holding it together, but, girl, I'm out of my mind. And, girl, what? Now, remember, when she met the man at the bar, this is the first time meeting him, meeting the same woman meeting that woman she hooked up with. Like, girl, it was just a lot. It's giving, like, you don't have a concept of danger and you're just taking random party drugs from people that you meet out on the night on the town. And it's giving that type of free, uninhibited spirit. And it's a little worrisome. But that's who Cheyenne is currently. And Andy's like, well, girl, did they drug test you on intake? And she's like, no, you know, they really didn't have a problem. They didn't have a reason. I wasn't driving. They didn't have a probable cause. So, you know, no, but let's get out of here before this pill take me down through there. And so Andy's like, okay, well, at least I got some hope in knowing, you know, your rights and your laws at a minimum. But, girl, still, we need to get up out of here and we need to go home. Okay. Maurice decides, it's not funny, it is funny. Maurice calls Calvin to tell him about what happened to Sabrina. And I don't even think he has any preconceived notion about anything that's happened. But just having Maurice on the phone saying, hey, I'm just calling you to give you the news about Sabrina. Child, he is hooting and hollering and wailing and weeping on that phone as if Maurice had told him that she was going on to glory. Like she was an ancestor now. And Maurice is like, she not gone. I bet I'm not going to be able to tell you what's going on if you don't stop all this carrying on and this hollering on his phone. And he's barely able to get it out to him like, okay, she was in a terrible accident. I know y'all wasn't together, but I know you care about her, you love her as a friend, and all that good stuff. Just giving you the information. She is in a coma. That's all I got. Child, I don't even know if Calvin heard anything, because he was, again, weeping and wailing and crying and probably blowing snot bubbles. Like, it was a whole lot. It was kind of funny, but it was a lot. So, nice enough that Maurice gave him the information. Now, I don't think that warrants Calvin coming back to the show. You don't have to be here. You can stay where you at with that white woman. But, yeah, it happened. All right. Andy and Cheyenne, they're trying to tiptoe back into the house. And, of course, Mama's standing right there like, girl, where y'all been? What's going on? And Cheyenne goes with the story that Andy picked her up from a party that kind of got out of control, which, okay, partially true. And Mama ain't buying none of it. She's like, okay, y'all gonna tell me. Y'all gonna tell me what's on that note. That's a reference from another movie. Either way, Mama is on the case. She's on the case like Paul is on, and she's like, I'm gonna find out what's going on. Anyway, moving on, Mama goes to see Andy before she goes to bed to tell her that, hey, you and your sister need to get along. I need your support, girl. Same story. And Andy reminds her mama, like, girl, with everything I got going on, Cheyenne is a distraction. All of this is a distraction in my life, and I like to take my hits one at a time. This is all too much, and I don't know if I can handle this. And Mama, she knows, she got this mother intuition, this motherly instinct that knows that there's something more going on with Andy, that she doesn't have all of the details and the inside on. She's worried, but girl, you got to worry about yourself right now. When your chemo, it ain't the time. Andy not ready to talk. She'll let you know when she wants you to know. Either way, Andy she has a little bit of a crash out again. She's like, Mama, I'm telling you, like, it's a lot going on with Karen moving and Sabrina being in a coma and my car blowing up. Like, girl, I could have died in there. She don't even mention the fact that she almost got unalived by Gary's ex-wife, and it's a lot going on. And she's like, yeah, having to bail Cheyenne out of jail. Like, all of this is too... What you said? You said bail who out of where? Okay, girl, that slipped out. I meant to tell you that. She'll tell you when she's ready. And Mama's like, girl, you know that lady ain't gonna never tell. That child ain't gonna never tell me what really went on, but whatever. And she was like, Mama is kind of disheartened by the news that she had to go bail Cheyenne out, because she's like, with everything that Cheyenne has going on, I thought that her being in Atlanta would be a new beginning for her. It would be the fresh slate that she needed. And Andy's looking like, girl, why would she need a new beginning? Like, what done went on down in Florida? Now Mama act like she is a who owl and she don't know nothing about what's going on. She's like, girl, time to go to bed. I'll holler at you later. No, girl, don't prep and prime me for my tea, and then when it comes time for you to give up the tea, you tired and you sleepy. Either way, we'll learn more in the coming episodes, but that really aggravated me because, girl, you done came here and got all my information. I don't know if you reverse psychology me or it slipped out by accident, but you done came here and got all my tea, and now you don't got nothing to say. Really aggravating. Okay, we see Cheyenne. Miss Cheyenne is in the tub. And it's gotten to that quiet, lonely place. She's sitting in the tub taking her bubble bath, and we see her take a bump. Okay? She takes what we presume to be that white lady, that white girl, whatever the street term is, girl, I don't know nothing about it. But she takes a bump, and we hear her playing some voicemails from some guy named Tank. And Tank is like, yeah, girl, I went by your mama house. Neither one of y'all are home. Yeah, Cheyenne, what's up? I've been looking for you. Cheyenne, and you can hear him getting more and more irritated with each voicemail. So Cheyenne did something to that man. I don't know if she took his drugs. I don't know what she's done, but Tank is probably who Cheyenne is running from. That's my assumption. I don't know if that's her dealer, her pimp. I don't know who he is, but of course that drama is going to end up in Atlanta, and Andy's going to have to help her sister out, surely, but that might be the fresh start that Mama was just talking about. Okay? All right. Okay. Mama goes into the bathroom, and I assumed that she was going to confront Cheyenne about being in jail, but she doesn't. But she does tell Cheyenne, like, girl, I don't need you making things harder for Andy. Like, this could be the new beginning that, you know, that I hope for you, but you got to be receptive. Like, Andy can teach you some things, and, you know, point you in some better directions. And Cheyenne's like, girl, Andy don't even want me here. Like, what are we talking about? Cheyenne's kind of giving up hope on whatever this reconciliation is supposed to be. But anyway, Mama says that, and she's like, girl, you know, basically you need to pull it together. Don't blow this opportunity for yourself. And she goes on to bed. And after Mama walks away, you can kind of see where Cheyenne's countenance kind of fades. And what I thought was pertinent about this scene is that Mama is so busy trying to force these two people back together, so much so that she's not realizing the independent pains that these daughters have. Andy has her own pain when it comes to men. Cheyenne probably has similar pains as well. That's probably their joint hurt, independent hurt with Gary and Tank and all these other men. And I don't think Mama is giving the individualized type of attention to the two daughters. And that might be the catalyst. Like, let's work through these independent traumas before we try to work on the group trauma to force us all back together. You know, Black Mama Syndrome, you just want your siblings to have each other's back no matter what, because you ain't always going to be here. That's wonderful. That's hopeful. That's wishful thinking. But girl, little do you know, if it's not together when you leave here, it's rarely ever together when you do. Just speaking from experience, okay? All right. Yeah, but it kind of broke my heart. Cheyenne did look sad because it just seems like, okay, you're here championing and speaking up for Andy, and, you know, which may have been a lot of Cheyenne's childhood now that I'm sitting there thinking about it. Everything she probably did may or may not have been compared to Andy and her successes. Mind you, we're 8 years apart. Girl, we should be in different walks of life in an 8-year gap. It's to be expected. But if Andy is the golden child, the child that got out and the child that succeeded, Cheyenne may have been not pitted against, but compared to Andy a lot of her life anyway, which, again, another layer of contention between the two sisters. Okay? All right. Okay. Officer Marcus comes knocking on Danny's door. She don't want to be bothered. She's like, who is it? He's like, okay, Marcus. All right. She opens the door because, sir, you're already here. He just wants to see her again. And the night before was great. And he just, oh, I'm getting sick talking about this guy. Anyway, she was like, well, didn't I just see you down at the HEB? And I said everything I needed to say earlier. Why are you here? And he claims that I can't stop thinking about you. Like, we need to recreate the magic that was the night before. Didn't I just tell you my friend was in a coma? Well, you didn't respond to any of my texts, none of my forms of communication. And she was like, listen, today has been traumatic. And anytime that I get any type of communication, a call, a text, a knock at my door, I am assuming that it's going to be more bad news. I don't want no more bad news. I'm trying to process and navigate this thing by myself as much as possible. I'm good. Ain't really nothing going on between us. Nothing is ever going to go on between us again. You be good. This and the timing is just really bad. And he is damn near begging to come in. And she's like, no, I'm good. You know, you have a good night. She's trying to close the door. And he basically like put his hand in the door. He's like, no, like you need to talk to me. Like, what's going on? And she's like, listen, I ain't got it. Like, ain't nothing going on between us. I got a lot going on. This ain't the time. Right here in this moment where you see he's getting a little bit more irate. His levels are getting a little bit more high because she's not responding in the way that he thinks that she should respond. And what I noticed in this moment is her spidey sense is going off like, okay, this situation could get bad. It is now time for me to dial down my tone, dial down my countenance, soften things up, because if I continue matching him, shit's gonna get wicked. I don't even know if that was the intent, but I know as a woman in interactions with men, sometimes you got to read their temperature to know, this sapsucker ain't hearing nothing I'm saying, and I'm gonna have to talk nice and sweet, even though I really want to punch this nigga's lights out in order to get out of this situation safely. And that is what Danny was doing in this moment. Like, okay, let's talk about it later. Maybe I talk, trying to circumvent the anger that she sees bubbling up in him. Unfortunately, it does not work. Again, he is only interested in talking about them hooking up again and reliving the night before. And she's still, like, she's so bewildered. She's scratching her head and she's like, did you not hear what I just said? Like, ain't nothing between us. Ain't nothing else gonna be between us. If it was, this wasn't the time. Go ahead about your business. At this point, he didn't push his way in, and he claims that she used him up and threw him away like trash, like this nice guy act that he's been having all along is out the window. And she's like, hey man, like, get out my place. And he's like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, you're not gonna throw me away like trash. And she's like, all right, what if I call the police? And he's like, police? Hey girl, I am the police. Like, who you calling? So she tries to jump on the bed to call the cops. He's able to overpower her and begins hardcore full body on this lady's throat, choking her while simultaneously trying to, I'm gonna go with violate. I'm gonna go with the word violate, okay? Hear me? You got it? Okay. While simultaneously trying to violate her. And now she is in a situation where she has to fight for her life. So they're in there and he is putting paws on her. Like, she is just trying to get away from him. He's trying to get the one thing he came there for, and she ends up getting a cast iron skillet. She is able to get a frying pan, and she goes to work on Myra. She go to work on his ass. I mean, beating him for old, for new, for Preston, for for Tony, for every, like, she was wailing on his ass with that frying pan. And I, for one, was very much happy about it. And now he decides it's time for him to leave. What I wish he was able to do is, like, call a neighbor out, like a neighbor had come out and witnessed it, call 911, like something that will be able to something that would support her story, because you do know that he is a officer of the law, and if she tries to press charges, whatever vengeance she wants to get through the judicial system, it's going to be, oh, a decorated police officer against some common citizen. So might not be very likely. So that's the only thing that I wish was different, but here we are. Anyway, he gets the hell on up out of there, and she is so, when she's coming off the adrenaline of having to whip his ass and having almost been violated and having been attacked by this officer, I don't know if, like, that's the adrenaline of coming down off it, or him obstructing her airway so much it looks as if she passed out from all of this. And so your girl Danny is going through it. This is the second time she's been physically attacked by a man, and girl, at this point, just don't even worry about dating no more. Don't even worry about it, because if y'all recall a couple seasons ago, there was, I don't remember his name, somebody she brought home on a one-nighter type situation, and I think he ended up spitting on her or something to that effect, and they got into it. No, she ended up running him over with her car. So yeah, we're equal. Either way, that is how the episode ended. Not gonna lie, this Officer Marcus thing really pissed me off. It really pissed me off, because no really don't really mean no to certain people, and it's annoying. It's really annoying. And a frying pan, I'll take it, but you know, Swiss cheese is also an option. Okay? All right. Either way, next week we see where we get the introduction of the final lady to the cast, and it looks like her and Rich are going to have something. Child, we could have did without Rich, honestly, but here we are. And we see what Danny has to tell, or she may end up telling the therapist what happened to her. The therapist is a mandated reporter, so maybe not. We'll see what happens next week. Either way, that's it. That's been season 10, episode 3. Let me know what you think about the episode. We'll talk about it here in the comments. In the meantime, like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.